So Varun, you can start off. I'll just mute everyone. And if anyone has any doubts, they can just put it in the chat. And once you're done, you can just have a look at it and you can solve the queries. Cool.
Aniket, if you can make me the host, I'll just share my screen and
I
start
think
off.
you can share the screen. So
It's giving me, you cannot start screen.
Yeah, there you go.
We cannot hear Varun, Aniket.
Sorry, I was on mute. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let me know once you're able to see my screen.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, so this is like the topic for the day, Salesforce DevOps. And it's a topic I have invested a lot in past 3-4 years, I would say, because I feel that this is a significant it carries a significant weightage, but it is not practiced a lot in the Salesforce ecosystem. And to be honest with you, Salesforce is also investing a lot on DevOps, the APIs, the plugins, and whatnot. Salesforce is creating to kind of emphasize on the significance of DevOps. Now, just before we get started with it, a little bit of introduction about myself. I'm Varun GULATI from Bureau Veritas. So ForceOps is basically a YouTube channel that I run. So I've recently started it maybe 3-4 months back, and which is dedicated to Salesforce DevOps and related technologies or tips or tricks. And aim even for the over the channel is to map what happens technically maybe in DevOps to what are the functional or business milestones within a project. So again, about me, Salesforce DevOps enthusiast professionally, and that's my passion. And having a DevOps related discussion with anyone out there, anyone wants to discuss anything about DevOps, feel free to ping me anytime, because if I don't know about it, that's gonna pinch me, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get to know about it and come back to you. Here are my social handlers in case anyone wants to connect. So LinkedIn, Twitter, and again YouTube, as I kind of explained previously. And so agenda for the session, I see the whole purpose behind the session is to make you aware why what is DevOps in the first place, because there are so many definitions floating out there for DevOps that it sometimes gets very complicated. Like, what is DevOps? We'll come to that. Why DevOps is essential? What are the major key components of a DevOps culture or enterprise? And then what are the challenges in DevOps? See, one thing I want to kind of elaborate on is DevOps is as simple or as complicated as we make it. There is no algorithm for implementing or for approaching a DevOps. There is no algorithm. It will vary from situation to situation. It will vary from client to client. I mean, in our day-to-day life, maybe you are doing DevOps and you don't know that you are doing DevOps. It happened with me also. I was doing DevOps. I never knew it was DevOps actually. What are the few tech overview? I mean, what few technical things behind the framework? I'm going to cover few significant ones. If any one of you is aspire to get started or is already there in the journey, because none of us have reached, I think, there yet, because we don't have any place to reach. It's simply the journey that, that makes it interesting. And then there are going to be questions and giveaways. And again, I'm thankful to Aniket, Saurabh, and the entire cloud compliance team for the giveaways. I know it was there were discussions around it, but again, I'm thankful for the giveaways. Yeah. So Aniket, I need your help here for this specific slide. Maybe if you can unmute, and that'll be great. So any one of you who would like to define DevOps, and trust me, there's going to be no judgment. There's not going to be any judgment, because honestly, I know what DevOps is. I had known, but I wasn't able to define what DevOps is. And it's been a while. And 2 to 3 months back, I was able to define DevOps. That was a kind of, I would call it an achievement, and credit goes to someone. Definitely his name is going to pop up in the slide, but any one of you out there who want to define DevOps or Salesforce DevOps.
To be very frank, I really don't know.
That's fine. That's totally okay. That's fine. If we, yeah, sorry, Aniket, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that anyone can just unmute themselves, and if they want to say it, you can. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Dhirendra. Even I don't know it, but I would try. Like DevOps, I think it is related to the practices that we follow during the deployments of a web application or anything from sandbox to a production org.
That's definitely part of it. It's definitely not the entire thing, but I really appreciate you coming forward and taking it up the range. That's great. So I'll kind of brief you on what are the definitions of DevOps which are out there. So one is the CI/CD. When we talk about people, we discuss with people for DevOps. They say, "What is DevOps?" I've implemented CI/CD. DevOps is done. Or you'll get release management. You have so many. Either you have your own DevOps enterprise, or you have purchased a product, say Copado, or you have AutoRabbit, or you have Flowsum or CareSet, and there's a release management procedure behind it. But is it actually DevOps or just release management? That's for us to gauge. But definitely one of the definitions out there is release management, where especially on job portals, if you go out there, people have the requirement for release management, and it comes up as a requirement for DevOps, Salesforce DevOps. That's out there. Some describe DevOps as a culture. Again, I cannot deny to anyone out of these that this is not DevOps. This is the closest that I could have related before, maybe 1 year back. What is DevOps? DevOps is a bridge between development and operations. And it bridges, I used to call it, bridges the gap between development and operations. I know there's a purpose for development and there's a purpose for operations team, but I cannot define it. Actually, what is that purpose? The purpose is, and that's what, I saw one of the videos and I thought, oh, it was that simple. I never knew. Again, having said that, 3, 4, and 5, they are also correct definition of DevOps. But why are they existing? It is because of second, to bridge the gap between development and operation. What is that gap? This is the gap which is on the first brick. The gap is development thrive on change. Development thrive on making a change, whereas operations or administrators, they thrive on maintaining the stability. What would add more developers to your team? More requirements from the business. What it is going to bring? It is going to bring more changes to your production, because that is what the ultimate aim is. You are building something, you want to take it to production. But if I am an admin or from an operations guy within the Salesforce ecosystem, I would say, boss, this is my production system. Please do not make any changes to it. Make my life hassle free. DevOps is something, it's a culture, it's an enterprise which bridges this gap. So bridges the gap between development and operation, the gap between absorbing the business required changes without impacting your production stability. So here you have development, you have operations, and the guy standing out there is the DevOps engineer. And I would want to thank to Andrew Davis from Copado, who came up with this definition. I'm pretty sure we all know about him, and I am trying to have a interaction with Andrew to get some more insights on, you know, I happen to be the Copado champion this year, but I have been a fan of Copado since past couple of years, because in 2020 starting, when I came to, when I thought that, okay, I have seen few cycles of DevOps. Now I want to build maybe some universal product which can be useful for everyone. And then I encountered Copado, and I thought that that's exactly what I aim to build. It's already built and it is beautiful. So it's not that I'm talking any sort of relativity, but the tool is simply awesome. And there are other tools which are equally awesome. Flossum or Gearset or AutoRabbit, they are fantastic tools. It's just that I happen to relate to Copado because that's exactly what I imagined to build. Let's go to next. Yeah, seeing the definition of DevOps, now we know that DevOps is nothing but an umbrella altogether. It's an umbrella which many tasks or many divisions behind, underneath that umbrella, and what those divisions or what those measurements would be. One is definitely a release management, because a release engineer job is not an easy one. He or she needs to take care of the entire sprint, plan it, documentation, artifacts, deliverables. It's not an easy ask, and that's why, that's what is happening between build versus buy thing, which is out there, whether you want to build your own DevOps enterprise or you would like to kind of go out for a product, reuse what's already existing. But again, there are many parameters which kind of you need to evaluate. You have your cost, you have your skills, you have your already existing relations, or you have your business assurances, you have your ongoing sprint. You need to know when to onboard what, you need to sync it with your, there are many things that comes out there. Other is the code analysis. So it's again how you want to do code analysis. You want to do static, you want to do dynamic. If you're going with a static code analyzer, say Sonar, or you're going with Apex PMD with Sonar, there are some Apex limitations out there with a specific version of community edition of Sonar. So code analysis is another thing. Another thing is CI/CD. You need to set up, you need to set up jobs within your build and deploy tool to kind of deploy what you are developing to the target in Salesforce environments. How you want to set it up? Do you really want CD, or you are happy with CI? And another thing is deployment tool stack, because as I previously said, CI/CD, that is something which is generic to build and deploy tool, but you need to identify that tool, what that tool's gonna be for build and deploy, how you're going to code, what will be the coding standards, which Git software you're going to choose, why you will choose that. Is it going to be on premise? Is it going to be on the cloud? And after that, are you going to have your DevOps tool stack on again, on cloud or on premise, what are the security implications, what, do you really want your code to go out there on the cloud, and then how you are monitoring, how you are validating. So according to that, you need to have your own deployment tool stack. Now again, environment refreshes, this is pretty critical, and I believe cloud compliance is definitely going to be able to relate to that, because you understand the pain of doing an environment refresh. And I would be honest with you, I was fascinated with the capability of cloud compliance, because, and that's the discussion I had with Aniket and Saurabh also, that what cloud compliance has built, because people, uh, personally, I also thought that with Apex you can easily do what cloud compliance is doing, especially the data master thingy. But where that pain comes is after, post refresh, when you try to do, make sure the environment is consistent, everything is breaking, integrations are breaking. So for me, cloud compliance is a great option to go for masking capabilities out there, because it has the capability to serve as a configuration management for my integrations as well, which are definitely going to break if I do a refresh. So post refresh, if I can restore my integrations, at least the endpoints which are there on my Salesforce ecosystem, that's great. That's definitely going to help many customers out there, because I know it's a pain area for many. And then again, your GitOps. GitOps is nothing, basically creating a branching model for your deployment lifecycle. And if you are working on a VCS based development model, this is the foundation of it. If you are able to build branches and map it to your environments properly, 70% of your DevOps job is done. You can be peaceful. That I can assure you. So these are few of the activities which were top of my head. Again, I haven't reached there yet, but I'm in the journey. I'm exploring things. There are definitely so many out there which even I may be doing, but I don't realize that they are part of DevOps. Now, why DevOps is essential? Uh, why DevOps is essential? Because okay, I don't have a cloud complexity. I have 20 business requirements per sprint, which say it is 2 week sprint. 20 requirements, I can do it with chain sets. I'm using Sales Cloud from Salesforce. I don't need a DevOps. It's okay. It's fine. Okay, 6 months, it works great. You onboard Service Cloud. All right. I'm servicing. Okay, it's maybe 25, 30 more uh, business requirement. I can live with it. Okay, fine. There's some cost implications. I have to onboard Experience Cloud, so Experience bundle, yeah. All right, but I can manage with it. Now it's getting, to build more and more. Now you are getting into CPQ. You're getting into business needs some analytics. You maybe you have some vertical within your organizations for Marketing Cloud. You have your I could have replaced marketing with e-commerce, obviously. Then maybe you have a field service on board. Everything sounds great, but it is very hard to accommodate everything, all these clouds, without a proper DevOps governance. There should be an evaluation for the delivery, which should be a part of onboarding any cloud. How you are going to deliver it? Usually that is not so. And that is what my request is out there to anyone, to any consultant who is approaching their clients, that please keep some space for, the delivery methodology as well. And this is something which kind of breaks my head all the time. Pardot, if because Pardot doesn't expose any API. I am because and Salesforce has recently, I think they have acknowledged it recently that for Pardot there needs to be some DevOps governance, because for Pardot it's mostly about clicks. but then you can't beat the fundamental only for one cloud. You need to have it consistent for all the clouds, and you need to have it consistent for the entire enterprise. Right now, Pardot is a big pain area for the customers who want to onboard onto the DevOps journey, because there's nothing out there. The only thing which I was able to find out was that Azure DevOps promises something which is on their website, but it's been out there from a long time. I haven't seen any progress on that. So that is available online. So anyone can search it out, check it out. If needed, I can share the link for that. But Pardot is a big pain area. And this, when you say that you don't need DevOps, when it comes to monolithic versus a distributed architecture, okay, you need multiple Salesforce orgs, gosh, and there are utilities shared between the two orgs. You need to have a proper DevOps governance. Otherwise, sooner or later, things are going to collapse. It's high time we within the Salesforce ecosystem at least acknowledge it. Maybe not address it, but we need to accept and acknowledge. How DevOps suddenly became so hot in the market. It became hot in the market with the help of a power bundle, the Salesforce DX, which was introduced in 2016. It's been, that's what I said, that Salesforce is heavily investing on it. So it's been there, and since 2016 or before, Salesforce must have been trying before that. Definitely they have a product team to work on it. So there are two key very critical components for the Salesforce DX. One is the SFDX. It's a small utility packed within the Salesforce CLI. And come on, you gave a DevOps engineer a CLI to interact with the org. What not one can do with it? You can do anything with it. It's you got the API exposed. Rest is up to you. So SFDX is kind of an interaction utility with your org, or how to and how to kind of extract or push things, test it out, develop in local, test out on the org. And people are kind of used to the concept of developing within the dev console. Okay, for a team of 1 or 2 developers for a short-term project, it's going to work out. But again, I have heard people with the pain area they have, that for bigger teams, it's working on, and dev console doesn't work out. I'm not sure what's been your experience, and I'm pretty sure that for anyone from dev team may say that it's okay, we can do it. But trust me, once you are onboarded to working on your local and checking things out there, working in that fashion, it's definitely going to help you, and you're going to see that difference. And again, maybe you're doing that, but it please spread it across, I would say. And the other utility is the ScratchOps. ScratchOps is the closest to a Docker container within the Salesforce ecosystem. If you have heard of the Docker container, it can let's come out of Salesforce. Let's see a Java-based app. If I can containerize that app, I'll get an image. I can spin up that image anytime. I can spin up at that image anytime. I can destruct that image anytime. I'll have my app running as soon as I spin up at that image as a container. I'll destruct the app as soon as I destruct that image, that container, and it comes back as an image, but it will get destructed. ScratchOps is the closest thing to that Docker container, and I'm not sure what the framework is behind ScratchOps, but something tells me they are using Docker. I don't have any proof for that, because I believe they have JBoss. I'm not sure, but they have a lightweight server behind, so it is the closest thing to Docker. So previously, dev team used to work within their own DevOps, but that's not correct, because you are deflecting from the source of truth concept. So that is why Salesforce gave this feature out there for ScratchOps. and you spin it up for any developer, you destruct it anytime. It works like a magic. So and there's no limitation about scratch off, that is not there for Salesforce. So you can create a scratch off. Scratch off is, if I need to define it, scratch off is a skeleton of my production system. When I say skeleton, it doesn't contain metadata or data, but it has all the features and settings as my production, the ones which I am able to define in the scratch off definition file. That would be the definition of scratch off. I'm pretty sure there's so many trailhead modules out there. Many you would be using it or are aware about it. And if you're using DevOps, you can come up to scratch off anytime. There would be some, you cannot attain that velocity in DevOps. If you onboard to Salesforce DevOps, you need to accept there would be some compromise in your velocity, in your sprint velocity initially, which will be picked up. And I'm pretty sure within 2 to 3 months, you are going to deliver more with the correct agile methodology, with the proper procedures in place. You are surely going to deliver a better velocity than what you are currently delivering with the power of DevOps.